what were the main takeaways from this?
Well, really, it's about this sustained momentum after it was a relatively successful meeting between Xi and Biden in November in G20. Liu He did raise concerns about the US's continued policies around technology, trade, economics, obviously implying kind of concerns around those very sweeping sanctions that Biden is showing no signs of pulling back from. So that does remain a concern. But the tone overall, much more constructive than we've seen, much more positive than we've seen in recent months. So certainly boding well. And of course, his upcoming meeting with Yellen to visit China. That will accompany probably likely after a meeting by Antony Blinken, who is also said to be planning a trip for early this year.
Okay. Does this actually then make a difference? Does it really have something substantive to it in order to make to move the needle?
I think that's the really critical question, and the issue here is this sort of shift, this consensus shift that we've seen in Washington. We have seen a move to a much more fundamentally hawkish stance, and that is obviously going to weigh quite heavily on whatever it is the Biden administration tries to move forward in the relationship with China. I think some key areas they can, climate change, for example, that came up as a potential issue, and of course this ongoing issue about the tariffs that were introduced by Trump. Now, many agree, including in Washington, they haven't been the most effective form of economic statecraft.
The chip business could, though.
The chip business, that is the presiding and enduring issue. It's very painful for the Chinese. It's worth noting they have been very muted in their response so far, but that could all change. It's worth remembering Liu He, Wang Qishan, these are all the outgoing members of reformers in China who've sort of steered economic planning over the last decade. We are now going to see a new cohort of economic planners, and those are the people that Yellen, Blinken will actually be meeting with when it comes to later this year. So there could, of course, be some kind of shift there.
Very, very quickly here. Okay, what happens next? I mean, there is not much wiggle room for the administration in the U.S. given the bipartisan anti-Chinese feeling. Very quickly.
Absolutely. There's very little wiggle room. There's a very delicate dance for Biden. He doesn't look like he's pulling back at all. And what's more, actually, it looks like he's been successful in winning multilateral support from other countries, particularly when it comes to chips. So certainly something to watch there.